It's great to be here. I came from Lake County tonight where I addressed the Republican Assembly of Lake County, and then I hit every dime of Barack Obama's highway funds and stimulus spending on the way here. So thank you so much for waiting. Great speakers. It's a real privilege to speak on behalf of and endorse BarbaraBellar tonight. I think the signature issue of our generation, policy speaking, is the reversal of Obamacare. It's exactly the investment that we need to make in political venture capital to support candidates, a doctor, a physician like Dr. Bellar running for office, and she must win. I know a lot of people here in the room. Carl was on my campaign. Many other people, Sandy, so I just want to give you all a brief update on what I've been up to since the governor's race. My wife and I, we celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary, so we've actually survived longer than most Hollywood marriages and probably a lot of Illinois political marriages as well. My children turned 6, 4, and 2 this summer, and over the dinner table about 6 months ago, my 6-year-old, I decided to do what my father had done and ask my kids questions and educate them the way they should be educated properly. And so I asked my children, where do your rights come from? And the 6-year-old got a great smirk on her face. She looked up and she said, from China? So I probably should be spending more time at home. It was easy to disabuse her of that answer. I told her that the Chinese don't celebrate individual birthdays. And that's sacrosanct in our house. They love their birthday. So she'll never give that answer again. As many of you know, I believe Illinois is worth fighting for because I have lived the best of Illinois. I have lived the American dream, going from Herscher to Hinsdale in 15 years by starting a business with my brother. We almost lost that company in year 3, and that's when I realized it was about policy. But for another dime's worth of taxes, regulations, litigations, and fees, we would have been out of business. The American dream of a poor kid going from a small town to Hinsdale in 15 years, it's becoming rare, it's under attack because of policy. You hike taxes, you centralize health care, you hike fees, and the story becomes impossible. To live the American dream right now, the very foundation and fabric of what this country's been built on, it's under attack. I love Illinois so much, and I know it's worth fighting for at such a level that I decided to run for governor. And then before the first governor's debates at the Union League Club in Chicago last November, before we all took the stage, Chris Roebling, he was moderating the debate. He introduced us all with the following words. And he said, the ongoing concern of the state of Illinois is in question. And it was a heavy statement. But he was right. A year ago, Chris Roebling nailed it. Cook County hasn't created a job since 1990. The state of Illinois hasn't added a job to the job count since 1997. It's about policy. Our debt is 9th worst in the world, 2 notches higher than Iraq. $42,000, that's your share at home of the long-term liabilities of this state. And the Wall Street Journal said it best in an editorial, we're bankrupt in March. Tell me, convince me that this isn't the worst financial crisis the state has faced. And I believe it's up to you. It's up to me to resolve the problems. And I understand it. People are apathetic. We got an inspector general in state government. 58,000 state employees, right? He's fired 5 in 5 years. We've got an auditor general, and he's supposed to root out corruption. He's in charge of the state auditing function. He has subpoena power. He's had his job for 18 years, and he's never used it during blow-off excess corruption of the last 2 governors. We have an attorney general, Lisa Madigan. She has 712 employees. That is a small army, and she can't find corruption anywhere. I understand when people feel that they can't fight City Hall. But it is up to us, and if you think about it, it's always been up to us. Generation 1, the John Adams family, he said, I must study politics and war so that my sons and daughters," he said, "my sons, I have daughters, may study business and philosophy, so my grandchildren may then study art, music, and poetry." You and I, we get it. We're back there again. We must study politics. So I've dedicated an organization called For the Good of Illinois to identifying candidates and policies to take back Springfield and take back our state. And we've had a lot of success. Since 2007, we've posted $2 billion of public spending online, even opening up the checkbook in Cook County and DuPage County. That gives taxpayers respect, and it gives scrutiny to public spending. I believe at this moment in time, this is not a moment for compromise. This moment in time is a moment for courage. It's the courage of BarbaraBellar taking on Kevin Joyce in a tough race, but then being rewarded for her courage when Kevin Joyce goes to Florida. They don't have an income tax. It's the political courage, not a moment of compromise, for Carl Segovich to run against John Daley, and then Mayor Daley doesn't run, and people realize they've decimated this county and this city. It's the political courage of Ronald Reagan at all levels fighting against the Soviets. Rhetoric called them the evil empire, ginned up the defense spending, and even took it to outer space with Star Wars, unjammed Radio Free Europe, and even fought on currencies. At every level, Reagan realized the inflection point and fought back and unraveled the Soviet Union. And I am proud, I'm the chairman of the Illinois Republican Party 100th birthday of Ronald Reagan celebration across this state in February. It's a real privilege. This is not a moment for compromise. It is a moment for courage. The courage of the regular person who lit the lamps so Paul Revere could go on his ride. And we don't know that person's name. It's a person much like you and me. It is the courage of Lech Walesa standing up in Poland to start the strikes, to create the domino effect that reversed the Iron Curtain on the Soviet Union. What was the institutional knowledge in Poland at the time? It was this: if you stood up, literally, you were shot down. It was the Soviet tanks rolling into Hungary in the 1950s. It was Stalin rounding up 2 million Poles in World War II, sending them to Siberia, and Stalin was smart. He worked you to death. The Germans, with Hitler, they ran the efficiency of the assembly line, of the gas chambers, and the ovens. That was the experience in Poland when Lech Walesa decided to stand up, recognizing the inflection point, and had the courage to fight back. That's the moment in time that we are right now. It's demonstrated by Dr. Bellar. And make no mistake, you can't live in a land of freedom, liberty, and opportunity with limited government and low taxation if you have federal control of health care. Government control of health care is quite simply control. I recognize the courage of Dr. Bellar. I'm here, and I drove, like I said, every dime of that stimulus spending to be here. Let's get behind Doctor, and let's win this race. This is our investment in political venture capital. Thank you so much for being here on her behalf, and for all of the candidates for supporting her. Thanks again. God bless you.